right. Hey, the alma mater finally gets off the schneid. Gets
We got a W. We got a W.
Man,
we got a W. Finally.
It was a heart attack game. 14-9 knocking off Cal.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty. I'll say that. It wasn't pretty. But I think it did a lot for Florida State, and it did a lot for the organization. Everyone, fans, players, everyone included. It did a ton for them just because it's been rough. We got 4 games we have that we haven't won in a row. It is a difficult run that we've gone on. So winning and getting a W underneath our belt was big for everybody.
I'm glad you mentioned the fans because I think they've been outstanding through all of this. Everything during the offseason, they took every punch. They laid out. And obviously, they were disappointed by their early performance, but Oak on Saturday.
Yeah, they were, and they booed DJ going in, right? And that's been a whole thing. I've talked about it a ton, and we've had a bunch of people have different thoughts on it. But as a player, I think you genuinely earn the respect when you go to a point to where you feel like you can control the fans and control the people that come there and support the team. I think it becomes an issue personally. I think the people that come in there are there to support already off the bat. That's why they're there. If they're not happy with someone's play, it's that player's job in order to figure it out and earn the respect of the fans that are there supporting them overall.
Nile Lawrence-Stample, our guest, won a national title at Florida State, also played on the defensive line for the Cleveland Browns. I thought Florida State's defensive line was better against Memphis. Not enough to win the game. But, boy, did they really come up big. 7 sacks and a ton of pressure getting their first victory against California.
Yeah, I think I don't think we've given Adam Fuller enough. Obviously, he's struggled and the defensive line has struggled, but it seems like him and his staff have figured out something in order to help. We're blitzing a little bit more, and not necessarily blitzing linebackers. We're actually blitzing our linemen. So we're shooting gaps, and we're being a little bit more strategic on how we're going after the run, which really paid off. And it worked a little bit at Memphis, and then it really worked for Cal. So that was super awesome to watch. And then watching all of our defensive ends and our Patrick Paytons be able to come over into spy since he's a little bit mobile, I think we utilized our personnel very well this past game. And I think it obviously showed fruitful. And it showed fruitful for the defense. It wasn't a pretty win, but when it comes to that defensively, it couldn't have been better.
Yeah, Marvin Jones Jr. had a really good fourth quarter, but Patrick Payton and Joshua Farmer, by far, the best game they had all year. It's almost as if someone got in their ear and told them that NFL tape doesn't lie.
Yeah, exactly. And I was making an analogy, and I was saying it's almost like they were in bed and someone came into the room with some cold water and shot it right on their face and was like, wake up. It is time to wake up. Your opportunity is here. It is right now. Let's get after it. Maybe you thought you were more ready than you were, but maybe let's go back into the lab and let's dig that dog back out because it's not barking right now.
Yeah.
And they've responded, and that's what you need. Sometimes you're not going to be perfect, but if you can adapt and kind of figure out what's going on and make those adjustments, you're going to get what you saw on Saturday.
And I was glad Marvin Jones Jr. had particularly those 2 last defensive drives. He did not have a good early game for Florida State, and frankly has not done much at all in the first 3 contests. But he came up large in that fourth quarter. Marvin Jones Jr.
Yeah, he did, especially towards the back end of that game. It seems like the pass rushing is something that he's still trying to pick up and still trying to perfect his package that he has. But towards the back end of that game, it's when you're consistent and you're persistent and you're going after it that some of those opportunities can come. And he was there when the opportunity came, and it was big. And I'm super happy for him because he is definitely one of the good ones. And I really hope that he can use this as momentum to kind of get him to that next level and for him to hopefully open up and get to the player that he wants to be.
Linebacker play getting any better because they still really struggle when it comes to defending a screen.
Yeah. So it's funny because I thought the linebackers played a little bit better because we were more disruptive up front. Obviously, it always starts up front, but I think we need to be a little bit more disciplined when it comes to our eyes. I think it's been an issue from the beginning, not being able to see some of the wheel routes, not being able to see some of the personnel matching that you need to have. I thought we did a better job this past Saturday, but I think overall, the linebacker core improved, but we need to be a little bit more disciplined.
The fans, the fans here are upset. They're upset with everyone. The fans in Tallahassee clearly have made themselves heard. They want to go to Brock Glenn. What's your whole – I would assume you wouldn't make a change now after getting a win, but still I think it's 12, 13, and 14 is what Florida State has scored in their last 3 games as far as total points.
Yeah, and it's so when people say they want to go to Brock, it's tough because what Norvell's job is to win games. That's his job. And it's not necessarily to develop players, and which he's going to do, but this isn't turning into a development year. And I've heard a lot of people say, okay, well, bring Brock in and let's start working on the new guys, which I guess in a certain sense, but it's about winning games. That's his job, to get bowl eligible, to potentially, who knows what happens towards the back end of the season, but it is to win games. And if DJ gives us our best shot of that, regardless if he's leaving next year, he needs to be the guy behind the wheel.
All right, some opponents that are coming up for Florida State. Next week, SMU. They put up 66 points. In 2 weeks, Clemson. They put up 59 points. Miami put up a 50-burger against what I think is a good South Florida football team. I watched that entire game. Duke goes 4-0. They put up 45 points. Florida State is, and I didn't even mention Notre Dame, and Florida, who had their best offensive display of the season, even up their record at 2 apiece. Florida State's getting ready to take on some really polished offenses in college football. They got to find a way to score more points.
Yeah, there's no way. And your defense can only do so much, right? So offense is going to have to find a way to drive the ball and get points on the board. And if you ask me, DJ has shown some struggles, but I think obviously a ton of struggles at this point. But I think if there's anything that I can say, it seems very mental. It doesn't seem like something that he can't do. It seems like he's very much in his head and he's having a mental block. And we're seeing it slowly work through progressions. I'm not saying he's the best quarterback and he's really an ideal prodigy if he were to get through this mental block. But all I'm saying is if there is a ceiling, it's very high, and we've only seen the tip of it. So if he can break through this mental block, you never know what this season's going to lie with him.
Final couple of minutes with Nile Lawrence-Stample joining us here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM. You go back off-season, this game in Dallas against SMU, their Atlantic Coast Conference opener, was highlighted, but the assumption was Florida State's the favorite, Florida State wins. Now all of a sudden they find themselves a 6-point underdog. You're connected over there. After winning and now being told all week you're a dog against a team that just put up 66 points, what do you think's going through their heads?
That's what you want. That's what you want. In the position that we're in right now, not being a great Florida State team, that's what we want. We want to be the underdog in this situation. We want to be able to go and prove someone wrong. I think obviously teams sometimes play better. I know Florida State plays better sometimes as the underdog, and I would rather be able to go in there because we've been projected high all season. Let's go ahead and flip the switch. No one thought we were going to come out and beat Cal. Let's have the same thoughts when it comes to SMU and hopefully go in there and hit them in the mouth.
You're going to win this week, 2 in a row?
Listen, I think we have an opportunity. That's for sure. I do. I genuinely do.
Hey guys, Taylor Dahl here. Thanks so much for checking out 1010XL's Seminoles page. If you're looking for more college football content, you can head over to the Gators page, or if you want some professional football content, check out our 1010XL Jaguars page.